Hey, so you guys really liked the last Q&A episode I did, and thank you for the support on that one. So yeah, if interest stays on this series, I'll potentially make it a full series, but here's another one. So yeah, if you have a question, of course, leave it in the comments below, or head over to my Discord. There's a specific tab there if you want to ask me questions, and I'll do my best to answer as many as I can on this series. The very first question we have is from a couple different people. They ask, how do I clean my collection? Especially because it looks like I've got quite a lot of stuff, and that must take a bit of time. Yeah, it actually is quite a time-consuming process. I tend to only do it kind of twice a year. I'll clean everything, and that's just purely because of time. I'll try and clean as I go as much as I can, but yeah, that's easier said than done sometimes. In the past, it's taken a minimum of 3 days to clean my Lego room and a maximum of like a week, sometimes even 2 weeks, but that's if I really string it out and I make sure to, do other things while I'm cleaning, maybe do like 2 hours of cleaning a day, that kind of thing, But what do I do to clean? I typically just get a damp cloth and kind of run it over everything, but the main issue a lot of the time is that with your Lego bricks and pieces and stuff like that, they often have a lot of nooks and crannies and crevices and studs and things, and the dust gets in the middle there. But recently, this is and isn't a product placement ad. They sent me this for free and they asked me to talk about it, but these are my honest, genuine thoughts. I have no script that they want me to say. I love this thing. This is from a company called Clean My Bricks. I'll put up a picture, a link, or whatever on the screen. This is amazing. It's like a little kind of personal vacuum thing, and you can kind of see it. I don't know how in focus that is there, but this actually kind of gets into the little nooks and crannies and cleans things like that. You don't even have to necessarily get it from a specific company or anything. There's one of these at the post office down the road for me. It's like $30 or whatever. So, it's a pretty helpful thing. And honestly, I'm kind of obsessed with this. And I know that's like such an influencer thing to say. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this thing. I don't mean it like that. I genuinely love this and it's fun to use. Please don't kill the mic. We're good. It's a pretty powerful vacuum. It's pretty fun. And yeah, it makes cleaning really enjoyable and easy to do. So hey, I love using this thing, and it is the perfect tool for that. So I recommend getting a little tiny vacuum like that if you can. If not, you can get things like toothbrushes or paintbrushes or very kind of like soft makeup brushes and use those to kind of brush over your Lego, which is a pretty good way to clean it. Yeah, make sure the bristles aren't too sharp, and definitely make sure there's not like other dirt and paint and other stuff on your brush. Get some brand new ones. Use those to clean and stuff. It often gets the job done. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can tackle that there. And if you just bought a bulk lot of new pieces that are a little bit dirty and you want to wash them, just fill up your sink. Obviously plug the sink before you do that, but fill up the sink with warm soapy water, pour the pieces into the water, and get a damp cloth and just go over each piece, cleaning it, like you would with your dirty dishes. It tends to get the job done, and I actually do that with every single Bionicle set that I review on YouTube. I'll take it apart, I'll wash the pieces, I'll put it back together, build it, review it, that kind of thing. It works. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit more difficult to do with like a built mock or a built Lego set. That's where you might need to get a damp cloth and wipe over the mock as best you can. Or yeah, you'll need one of those vacuums I spoke about. Drakuma35, they say, what's your favorite Lego set of all time? That's tough for Bionicle because I like a lot of them. At the moment, I'm really enjoying Strack. There's something about that elemental look that he has, and ice stemming out of his shoulders, his like icy teeth, his beautiful mask, his great like axe weapon too. He's just cool. He kind of reminds me of some of the elemental titans from Hercules, the Disney movie. I don't know, I really like that aesthetic. He's just a great toy. As for system sets, I really love the 90th anniversary Lion Knight's Castle set. Some brilliant play features in that, great minifigure selection, and it's just one of the most beautiful castles that LEGO has ever made. It's stunning. Thinginator asks, if you could have any mask in any color, what would you get? And if you could have a set recolored, what would that be? It's a really good question. For a mask, I'm gonna go back to Strack actually. There's a lot of prototype masks for Strack out there in like black and red and gold, and they're beautiful. And like I said, I just really enjoy that mask. So getting that in any other color would be a dream. I'd love to be able to build something like what Jafer has built on your screen right here, because, I mean, look at this thing, it's gorgeous. Combining that prototype mask with those Carapace armor pieces and a bit of trans dark blue, ooh, that's really nice. I'd love to be able to make something like that with one of those masks. As for a set to be recolored, it always comes back to Mark Surge. I'd love to have him in red. Because of course my self-mock Cossie is meant to be a Toa of fire, but he's got blue flames because they're like more powerful fire, because it's like real world fire, that when it's blue it's more hot and blah blah blah. It's lore I came up with when I was like 12. But getting him in red would be really cool to be able to make like a red fire version. I actually did that with a bootleg mask, but having that official would be really cool. Plus just this toy in red, I think would look pretty cool. Or even in yellow. Ooh, that'd be cool. Ooh, this in yellow actually. But I always say Surge, so if I were to say another set, the Mystica Takanuva, but with gold armor, just like he looks in the comics at one point. That I really want. Gabbylicious asks, are you into Gundam? Well, yes and no. I like Gundam, I enjoy looking at images of it and seeing the kits and different stuff, it's really enjoyable, but I don't own any Gundam, and at the moment I'm not planning on buying any. And that's mainly just because, as you can see behind me, space is at a premium and LEGO costs a lot of money. The action figures I like to buy, the Pokemon cards I like to buy, all the other stuff that I do for hobbies, it's expensive and it takes up a lot of space and time and energy and all that sort of stuff. So to get into more hobbies, I just don't know if I can afford it from a money and time perspective. And I reckon I'd really like Gundam, and part of me is tempted to buy at least like one Gundam kit. Maybe when I'm in Japan or something at some point I could do that. That could be really fun, but I don't know, it's kind of a blanket rule that I have where I try not to get into too many hobbies, especially ones that I fear I'm going to really enjoy, because, you know, money, time, space, all that kind of stuff. But I'm open to it. I like the look of Gundam, they're really cool. Mouth of Sauron asks, will you make videos talking about other LEGO themes, kind of similar to how Cheesy Studios does? If you're not following Cheesy Studios on YouTube, you should be. He makes incredible videos. So yeah, kind of like deep dive videos into other LEGO themes. Honestly, yeah, I'd love to do that. But yeah, the main reason I focus on Bionicle is because that's what you guys want. That's what you guys often respond best to. And sometimes I will post other like system related videos, and sometimes they perform really well. Sometimes there isn't that much interest in them. And I always want to make sure I'm making the kind of videos that you guys want to watch and the kind of videos that I enjoy. I would enjoy making these kind of videos. I have a lot to talk about with themes like Agents, Exoforce, even like Lego City or Castle, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd love to do that. If there's interest in that, that'll absolutely happen. So hey, if you want to see that, let me know. Alex EL4NV, they say, who's your favorite hero other than Mark Surge? Well, I would say Evo. I think every form of Evo is consistently really, really good. His mask is beautiful, and I like yellow. It's a good design. Wispy Wampa, they say, what made you get into YouTube? So this is a fun story. So I, as a kid in like 2011-ish, maybe 2012 era, I watched a lot of Minecraft YouTube stuff. I specifically watched a kind of collective of builders called Mindcrack. I don't really think they do much these days, but back then they were huge. And I loved watching a lot of those builders for their personalities and for the builds that they made in Minecraft. They were just really enjoyable, and there was just something fun about YouTube and all that sort of stuff, and knowing that a lot of them were professional YouTubers was really exciting. One member of the Mindcrack collective was a YouTuber called B00100. He still makes stuff, great videos, very fun to watch. And I really liked just the way he talked, just his personality, how he made videos, and I was very inspired by his builds in Minecraft. They inspired my own castle LEGO MOCs at the time, and I just feel like I learnt a lot about performing YouTube and making stuff from watching him. And he had he had this series on his channel called the Inspiration Series. I'm sure you can see where that's going. Him and another builder called Corrales, they would tour these like servers of people who built a lot of like really good Minecraft stuff, sorry. They just kind of talk about the like blocks that they were using, the techniques, all that kind of stuff, and just use it as a tool for inspiration. And I was like, hey, that's a pretty cool idea. What if I did that but for Lego, you know? And so I did, you know? And yeah, you know, I also have a history and a background with acting. I did that in high school and out of high school. So there's a big part of YouTube that's enjoyable from like a performance perspective. So it was just sort of this perfect mesh of different things. Plus, I myself get inspired by looking at other people's creations, so it just felt like the right thing to do, you know? It was just sort of this perfect storm, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy it too. YouTube is fun. Lil Caleb asks, how's my day? And do you plan on doing any videos showcasing fan mocks? My day's going well so far, thank you. I technically already do that. So every 10th episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series, that's every episode ending with a 0. Not like, you know, every episode that ends with a 2 or whatever, you know. Those are fan-submitted mocks episodes. So if you have a mock you want to see on the show, you can submit it to the email that's on your screen right now. But also, you know, those submitted mocks can feature in any episode. It doesn't just have to be the 10th episode. Every 10th episode is purely focused on those entries though, of course. So yeah, that already exists. Someone named Wrong Perfection, they ask, how long is it from when a mock is submitted to when it is featured? What's kind of the deal with that? So unfortunately, there's no real like straight answer for that. At the moment with submissions, checking my emails, I have over 700 submissions at the moment, and it's technically even more than that, technically. So yeah, it's physically impossible for me to work through all 700 submissions. Annoyingly, I'd love to feature everyone that gets, you know, their email sent in, but I don't have the time to do that, and it's just not physically possible, unfortunately. I'd love to. If there's a timeline with that, not necessarily. I really will just focus on mocks that I can talk about. If I have something to say, I'll talk about it, I'll put it on the episode. You know, by all means, if you have something that's been submitted and you really want it to be featured, feel free to send me a message. As long as you're kind and respectful, I'll do my best to try and get it featured as soon as I can. If you want, I don't know, like tips for getting featured, make sure your photography is really crisp and really good. As best as you can. I understand that's not as easy for some people, or like you don't have the tech for it or whatever, but really just using your like phone and taking a photo with good lighting is not too difficult. If you're unsure how to do that, I do have a specific video on my YouTube channel as a kind of tutorial for how to photograph mocks, so feel free to watch that and yeah, use that for a bit of inspiration, I suppose. Because definitely I will be less likely to feature your mock if I can't really see it in the images, or if it's like very grainy or dark photography, sort of stuff like that. People need to be able to see the mock. Taco Lacan asks, do you as an Australian like Vegemite? No, not really. You kind of have to grow up with it, and I never really did. But that being said, a lot of people make the mistake of slathering heaps of it on their sandwich or whatever, and that's not what you do. You got to put a little bit on. And when I have had a little bit in sandwiches or desserts or whatever, that's actually really good. But it's not really my jam. I kind of prefer jam or peanut butter or Nutella, that kind of stuff. Yeah, but you know, it's not a staple in my life like it is for other people. Brick Reject asks, what's a LEGO theme that deserves a Constraction wave of sets? Which is a cool idea. You know, kind of like how the Chima LEGO sets had constructible action figures that went alongside them, that kind of stuff. Well, if we're talking modern LEGO themes, I reckon Dreams would be really cool. You know, having the bad guys be like Bionicle Constraction style figures and the minifigures have to face off against them, that could be interesting. Even if it was just like the villains or Z-Blob as a Bionicle, that'd be pretty cool. Or maybe if it's called Dreams, you know, everyone has the Bionicle dream where they dream that it returns. Maybe we could have Bionicle appearing in Dreams. You know, Ninjago has Chima being tied into it in some fashion. So maybe. Probably not. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be a dream come true. So, you know, yeah, I like that. Moonzote asks, what did you think of Transformers 1? I loved it. Obviously, it's the most recent Transformers animated movie. I think it's the best Transformers piece of media movie that we've ever had, probably. I loved the relationship between D16 and Orion Pax and how that then evolves into Megatron and Optimus Prime. Beautifully written, lovely stuff. Really, such a good character-focused film. It's not focusing too much on like spectacle or cameos or whatever. It was just a really, really, really enjoyable experience and honestly inspired me to build some Bionicle stuff. Like I highly recommend it. Really, really good. And I love Transformers. It's a great time. Carapar Crusader says, what's your favorite D&D class and have you played any other tabletop games? Pretty much every character I've ever played ever is a rogue. I thoroughly enjoy playing the little sneaky characters with their sneak damage and their, hiding in the shadows, all that kind of stuff. And edgy characters like that's always fun. So yeah, I tend to play rogues in D&D. Although currently I'm playing a gunslinger, which technically is a fighter. So yeah, those are two classes I'm thoroughly enjoying. But any other tabletop roleplay games, really just D&D. One time I DM'd or GM'd, I guess, a Star Wars RPG, which was essentially just like 5e D&D but in Star Wars. The system that I found online for it was a little bit broken. Some of my player characters were incredibly overpowered, but it was fun. It was really enjoyable, and I like Star Wars. It was fun to play within that world. MC Lego Boy asks, who's my favorite fictional character of all time? That's incredibly difficult. Here's a few answers. I really like Darth Maul from the Clone Wars, or all of Star Wars. His like very sort of Sisyphus-related story is very, very fun to watch. And he's just such a beautifully, deliciously evil character. He's great. Ahsoka Tano, I grew up with her as a character, and I still thoroughly enjoy watching her. Her story is really, really cool. Kanan Jarrus from Rebels, I love him a lot. I also really like Han Solo. I think his story and just the idea of his character is just an incredibly fun thing to do. And in fact, I based a D&D character that I play off of Han Solo. So he's really cool. Anthony Bridgerton from Bridgerton is also a fantastic character. I could probably say more Star Wars or Transformers characters. I really liked D16 Megatron in Transformers 1 as well. So, hey, a lot of good characters out there. Tokyo Yokai asks, what are your thoughts on gluing Lego? Well, I glue Lego for some of the other Lego-related work that I do outside of YouTube with the Relics Exhibitions company. And we kind of have to do that to be able to transport it. And I remember when I first started doing it, I was like, gluing and cutting Lego and blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm used to it now. And I think for art installations and specific projects that require massive amounts of transportation and have a higher likelihood of breaking, you kind of need to do that stuff. So I think it's just sort of an inevitability for certain areas of the LEGO world. But doing it in mocks and stuff, if you want to do it, go ahead. I don't really have any malice against it. The only time that I'm a bit kind of iffy about it is when people will glue pieces together to create a technique that would be impossible to do without existing pieces. That's kind of cheating to some degree, in my opinion. But also, if you want to do it, I don't really care. Do what you want. There's no taboo about it for me. I'm perfectly fine with it, really. So, yeah. Taco Lacan asks, what are my thoughts on the video game LEGO Racers? That's pretty cool. Fallen Eclipse asks, would we ever get any Pokemon card related content, since I do collect Pokemon cards? That would be fun, but probably not. It definitely wouldn't be posted on this channel. I'd have to make a separate channel for that. Because this is just a LEGO focused channel. The main reason for that is time. YouTube videos already take a long time for me. I don't know if I want to start a whole other YouTube channel. So probably not. But, if I ever do get a job with LEGO, I do wonder if I'd be able to continue making videos. They might be like, hey, you can't talk about LEGO because you're now an employee of the company. And, if you say certain opinions about LEGO, people will take that as the company's opinions on LEGO. There might be issues with that. I don't know. I'm just assuming. So maybe if that happened, maybe I would switch into like other toys or Pokemon cards, potentially. So maybe in the future, if I ever get a job with LEGO, which is something I'm open to doing. So maybe, but probably not right now. Peg asks, what's my favorite mock that I've made and my favorite technique? Well, I have this mock called Temptation, which is based off of this quote, if you live in the Angel City, would you still be tempted by the devil? And it's kind of a little story of this, person being, tempted by darkness or something. I just really like the execution of this mock. I think it tells a story in a really nice way. The colors are really pretty, the techniques are nice. My favorite technique would probably be some of the rock work I did here, using a bunch of curved slopes to get really interesting looking rock work. I'm just really happy with how that looks, and I think this mock is beautiful. That's it though, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A episode. Stay tuned for the next one. Love you tons, happy building, and bye for now. Ask those questions below.